This is a video to show you how to use the herb dispenser system to order herbs for your patients. So we're on the main screen here. I'm just using a test account. So we have our cart and our dashboard. We're on the dashboard right now. And we can manage patients and we can add a new patient. And if you want, you can manage refills and you can build formulas. Here at Herb Dispenser, we do granule and tincture formulas. And you have your saved formulas, so every formula that you create in the system is saved for you. And we have a product search, and we have product categories, and we have your order history, and then we have lots of settings. So we're going to go through each of these one by one. We'll first start off with manage patients. So you can see this is a new account. We have no patients here. So we can add a new patient. I'm going to add myself as a patient. And for this, I'm not going to add an actual address, but if you want, you can send an email to your patient to register for a patient account. So in the patient account, the patient can pay for their order, order refills, see the information about their order, such as the info sheet and the label, and then there's some settings for them. If you don't want to email your patient, then you can toggle that to off. And there is a setting that you can have this defaulted to off, so it will never email your patient to register for an account. And when we're done, we can either save the patient or save the patient and create a formula. So that's what I'm going to do. Great, so the patient has been successfully registered and saved, and you can see it automatically chooses their name for them. And if we wanted to choose a different patient, you could select a new one from the list. We only have one patient set up right now, so it's only showing that patient. But we could also add a new patient. And this is a granule formula, so it allows us to create a custom granule formula. So we're going to name our formula. So we'll do a default or a very simple formula, Shayao-san, and we can choose the dosage instructions for the patient. So in this case, it's saying take 6 grams 2 times per day for 7 days. And it tells us over here that we need a total of 84 grams. And we can change that. We can be like, take 8 grams. And now it's showing us that we need 112 grams. And we could say take 8 spoonfuls. And 8 spoonfuls 2 times per day for 7 days is 168 grams. And that may be too much, so we can do 4 spoonfuls, and now that's 84 grams. And I'm going to switch that back to grams to make it easier for us. So 4 grams 2 times per day for 7 days is 56 grams. So you can play around with these settings. You can even change the number of days, and it does all the calculations for you. So we need 168 grams. So this information here gets printed on the label and an info sheet. So each formula, a custom label is generated and also an info sheet. And some practitioners want this information to be printed and some don't. So if you don't, you can just toggle that to no. And you can write your own instructions. Oops. Take 4 heaping spoonfuls 2 times per day away from food. Great. Now if you can do both, so if you wanted this to display and you wanted to write your own, I mean you don't want it to be redundant, so you don't want to say take 6 grams and then also 4 heaping spoonfuls, because it may get confusing, but you can say take away from food, contact me if you get a stomach ache. Something like that. And now both of these will be printed on the label, and I'll show you that. So you can see here, based on our dosage instructions, we need 168 grams for this patient because we want them to take 6 grams 2 times per day for 14 days. So we can start adding herbs to our formula. So we can do that in a number of ways. We can select the herb from the list. We can type the herb and select it. And we can enter a dosage amount. We can also go to our templates. So we have a number of templates in here, and we can see if our formula is in the list, and it is. And you can hover over the herb name, sorry, the number of herbs here, and you can see the actual herbs in the formula. And I can select this formula, and it's going to add that formula to our new formula. So all those herbs are added. And so here are the dosage amounts, and you can switch the dosage amounts. So you can modify your formula. In this particular dosage mode, it's a total quantity percentage. So it's using a proportional measurement. So you can see here it's giving all the percentages of the herbs. So 10 out of 60, so there's a total of 60 that we've entered, is 16.7%. And you can see initially it copies exactly what you're going to receive. So if I enter 10 in here, I'm going to receive 10 grams in the bottle. If I enter 9 here, I'm going to receive 9 grams in the bottle. And it is obviously going to equate to the same amount that you enter into the boxes. So this formula right now is going to be a 60-gram formula, but I actually need 168 grams. So we have this option here where you can change the total amount in the formula at the same proportions. So you can see the quantity received column changed when I entered 168. So instead of 10 grams in the bottle, we actually need 28 if we want a total of 168 grams. And so 16.7% of 60, sorry, of 168 is 28, and 15% of 168 is 25.2. So it does that for all the herbs. I could change it to whatever I want. I could be like, I need 500 grams. And so it's going to change all the numbers for you and do all the math. And now it's going to give us a total of 500 grams at the same proportions. Now we do have a different dosage mode. Some practitioners want to convert the granule from raw to granule using the ratio. So we have the daily dose mode, and you can switch back and forth between the two. So now here it takes all the amounts you had in the initial box, so it considers it the raw per day, and it divides it by the ratio to give you 2 grams. So 10 divided by 5 is 2, and it does that for all the herbs. So 9 divided by 5 is 1.8. And it multiplies it by the number of days. So 2 multiplied by 7 days, and it's giving you a total of 14 grams. And it does that for all the herbs. So it's a straight raw to granule conversion using the ratio, and then it multiplies it by the number of days that you want. And in this case, it equals 84 grams. In this dosage mode, it figures out your dosage for you. So 6 grams 2 times per day for 7 days is 84 grams. Now if we want the person to take 3 doses a day, you can see this number is going to change. So now 4 grams 3 times per day for 7 days is 84 grams. And if I were to change these numbers, you're going to see the numbers change. So 15 divided by 5 is now 3, and 10 divided by 5 is 2, and I could add another herb and enter, say, 15 grams, and you'll see now we have a total of 113.4 grams, and the math has changed up here. 5.4 grams 3 times per day for 7 days is 113.4. And if I switch this to 2 doses a day, it's going to be like, yeah, 8.1. So it just does all the math for you and makes it really, really easy. And we can switch back to the total quantity percentage mode. The thing I like about the total quantity percentage mode is you can actually control how much the person takes. And you can change this, and you can tell them to take whatever you want, and it's using the same proportions. And so that makes it really, really easy. But some practitioners like to convert from the raw to the granule. And our formula is being saved every 60 seconds. So if we were to go back into your saved formulas, we would see this formula there. And we could reuse it for other patients, edit it and modify it and reorder it. So that makes it very convenient. So as I was saying, every formula comes with an info sheet, And some practitioners want the herb information printed on the info sheet, and some want to hide that from their patient. So if you want to show it, it's defaulted to on, but if you don't want to show the herb information on the info sheet, you can turn that to off. There you go. And now the herbs won't be printed on the info sheet. I'm going to turn it back on so I can show you what it looks like. So we have a box here called preparation instructions. So in this box, you can write more information for your patient to help them, if there's any additional information that doesn't fit on the label, you can write that here, because the label's a good size, but it can't fit a lot of text. So you can write more text. So you can write a paragraph. You can write as much as you want. It can go on to 2 pages for the info sheet if it needs to. So here, additional preparation instructions. So when I show you the info sheet, you can see where that appears. With granules, you have the option of putting them into vegetarian, vegetable, or gelatin capsules. There's an additional fee for that. So for vegetarian capsules, it's a $15 fee plus an additional 20% of the formula price. And for gelatin, it's $12.50 plus an extra 20% of the formula price. So if you want to do that, just click on one of these options, and that will be done for you before the order is sent. We also have the ability to set refills on the order. So what's convenient about refills is it allows your patient to reorder the formula without your assistance, and they can do that in their patient account, or you can also do it for them under Manage Refills. So you can set the number of refills that is allowed and how often they can purchase the refill. So maybe once every 30 days, and you can set an expiry date. So you don't want them to order it 3 years from now, so maybe they have a few months to do it, and it really makes sense to ensure if you have 30 days between refills and there's 3 refills and you only give them 2 months, it's not really going to make sense. So some people will put 0 days, and they can order all their refills at once or every 15 days. It really depends on how much you're giving them. So if you're only giving them 7 days, you want them to be able to order the refill more often. So you may put every 5 days they can order a refill. And then it gives you the price. So the ingredient price is $24 for this formula, and the additional charges for the encapsulation is about $20, and it gives you a subtotal of $44. Under the special instructions, you may want to tell us, the dispensary, something specific about this patient or how to prepare their herbs. So you can do that here, and this information won't be shown to the patient. And then we can either save this as a custom formula or we can add it to our cart. So let's add it to our cart. After you add it to your cart, it lets you review the formula, because sometimes you make mistakes. You want to make sure all your herbs are correct, all the granule quantity or all the dosages are correct. It's for the correct patient. And then you can see that we've included encapsulation. You can read over your preparation instructions and any instructions for us. So if everything looks good, great. If not, you can go back and edit the formula. So until you order it, you can continue to edit it. And even after you order it, if there's a mistake, we can edit it on our side as well. And you can also cancel the order and resubmit it. So we can look at the formula label. Just give it a second to download. So there's the label. So it gives your information on the label. It gives a little bit of information that they should shake it well before each use, and that a spoon is included in each formula bottle. So each spoon is approximately 1.5 grams. It lists the patient name and the formula name, the dosage instructions, and the formula ingredients. And you can control the formula ingredients as well. You can specify which herb names are shown here if you want the quantity to be hidden. And so you can do that actually globally for all your patients, and then you can do it specific per patient as well. Great. And so we can go and view that formula in our cart. So we can see that we have the product name here, and it's a total of 81 grams. And we can edit this formula by clicking on this edit button. And we can also save this formula for later. So sometimes you may create 3 or 4 formulas and add them to your cart, and you don't want to order them all at once. You can put it in your saved bin, and it's going to go up into this page over here. And I'll show you that quickly. So now it's been moved to our saved bin, and we can go and check out our saved items. So there it is. And we can add it back to our cart. And let's go back to our cart. And if you forgot to tag a patient, then you can do that here as well. And if you tag the wrong patient, you can select a new patient. We only have one patient right now. Our system allows you to mark up orders, so you can make a profit on the order. So you can mark it up by a flat amount or a percentage. So let's pretend we want to double the price, so 100% markup. You can see here the markup is matching the formula price. And you can order more than one of these formulas if you want. Okay, let's just order one for now. And we didn't set a refill, but we can set a refill and enter the refill information. And then you can click I'm ready to check out. So it shows you what items are in your order, and you have some delivery options. You can ship it to the patient, you can ship it to your address, or you can select a pickup. So I don't have an address for the patient, so let's do ship to my address. And it gives you some Canada Post rates here, and it gives you the estimated delivery days. And if the address is wrong, you can edit the address, or you can add a new address. You can choose who's going to pay for the order. So you can pay for the order, or you can have your patient pay. So in this case, since there's the markup, it makes more sense for the patient to pay. And for the patient to pay, what we do is we send out an email, a text message, or you can send out both to the patient. And in that email or text message, there's a secure link to a payment page. So we can send both. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go back to I will pay just to show you what that looks like. So you can pay with a credit card, and if you had credits on file from markups that you've earned, then you can pay with those credits as well. And if you want to send an email money transfer, you can do that. So if you want to send an e-transfer, send it to this email address and make this the password. And then you would click on pay now, and we would wait for that e-transfer before we sent out the order. So you do have an option of saving credit cards in here. So if you want to save a credit card, go to settings and then payment, and then your credit cards, and you can enter your name, your card number, the expiry date, and the 3 numbers on the back of the card, and your card will be saved. And then when you are checking out, you can just click on the one little button of your saved credit card, and then you can pay with that instead of having to take out your card every time. So now that we're in the settings, we can go into the formula settings. So first of all, you can set a default formula name, which will appear each time. And you can choose the number of herb rows that appear. So when you're adding ingredients, you may always build large formulas, so you can have 20 rows appear every time by default. This tabbing option, when you're adding herb ingredients to a custom formula, some practitioners want to add all the herbs at once and then all the dosages. And some practitioners want to add one herb and then the dosage, and then move on to the next herb and add the dosage. So this controls where the active cursor goes when you press tab. So you can choose add all herbs and then add all the numbers, or add one herb, then add a number, and then go to the next herb. Then you have some settings for each of the herb types, granules and tinctures, and for each dosage mode. So you can, if you know you're always going to use total quantity percentage dosage mode, you can make it the default. So that way when you go build new granule formula, it's always going to default to this dosage mode. For automatically set weight, when you come up with your dosage amount, so we had like 6 grams 2 times per day for 7 days, it equals 84 grams. It can automatically set your formula to be that weight each time, and I'll show you that. And you can set some default dosage instructions. Another really cool feature is the column selection. So not everyone wants to use Pinyin when they're building the formulas. Some want to see Latin. So now we can build a formula in Latin. And there's all these columns here that you can turn on and off. So you can see the supplier and the herb type and the number of days, things like that. So you can turn columns on and off. So now if we go to build formula, granule formula, it's going to default to total quantity percentage. And if I go 6 grams 2 times per day for 7 days is 84. If we've set the weight automatically, you can see 84 is populated in this box for you. And now anytime I build a formula, it's always going to make the quantity received exactly 84 grams. So if we add a second herb, you can see it's always going to add up to 84 grams. But I can still override that and switch it. And if I switch this, it should switch to total 168. Now it's always going to change it to what you're entering here. Let's go back to settings. We have refill settings. If you know you're not going to use refills, you can turn refills off. So now refills will not show when you're building a formula. And then you can also set default refill settings. And so you can set it per herb type, or you can make it the same for all the herb types. So now every time I build a formula, this will always appear in those boxes. And you can do the same thing for products as well. So we'll do the number of refills, days between refills, and every 60 days it's going to expire. Perfect, so now that's been saved. So let's go back out and check out this order. So ship to my address, and I will have the patient pay, and we're going to send them both a text and an email. So now we've actually submitted an order. So now it's just waiting to be processed. And we can go to our order history, and we can check out all the active orders. So here's the order that we submitted. And if I want to, I can view the order. So you'll see here we have cancel order. So this cancel order will appear up until we start fulfilling it. So we can still cancel this order. And we can remind our patient to pay for the order by sending a text message or an email. And we can actually view the payment link. So if a patient is having a problem accessing the email, maybe it's going to their spam, we can copy the payment link and send it to them manually. And we can view the invoice, and we can download the invoice, and we can view the label, and we can view the patient info sheet and the practitioner info sheet. So here's just a simple sample of what the info sheet looks like. But if we want to actually see the info sheet in its actual form, that's what it looks like. So we have all the herb names, your preparation instructions, and the dosage information. We have an action menu here, so we can get to all the main functions of this order through the action window. And we can actually reorder this formula just by clicking on reorder. There it is. And you can see if you go to your saved formulas that everything is saved for you. So these are the formulas that we've created. And I can copy this formula, I can edit the formula, or I can view the formula. And I can also add it to a favorites list. So if I do that, now when I'm building a formula, it's going to be accessible, this formula. And we can also go to our favorite tabs and we can see that formula here. And we can remove it as well, and we can delete it. And so now if I build a formula, and I come here and I go to my favorite formulas, I can see that formula here, and I can add it to my new formula. We can also access all our formulas that we've ever created. And this list will get long as you start building a lot of formulas, and you can search for a formula. It's not going to work because they're both named the same. But if you had 100 formulas, you could search for the formula, and then it would appear at the top of the list, and you can add it to your new formula. If you select an actual patient, you can go under patient formulas and see all the formulas that you've created for this patient. Okay. We do have a master search up here, so we can go and see this patient's profile. We can see that we've ordered this formula for this patient. We can see all the orders that we've submitted for this patient, and if there's any products that we've ordered for this patient. We can see any formula template that we've created. So a formula template is a formula that you may create for the patient, but you haven't actually ordered for them. So this patient is tagged to these two formulas. And we can manage their refills. And we can add multiple addresses for this patient. So we can add a new address. And then the patient has label settings. So we can choose the herb name that we want to display for this patient. So you have a bunch of options here. And if you want to show them the quantity or not. So if I don't want to show them the herb quantity, I'll just toggle it to off. There's more settings. Patient. So if you don't want to automatically invite a patient to register when you set up their profile, you can just toggle that to off. Now when I'll save this. Now when I add a new patient, you can see that this is automatically off. And then we have some graphic logo label settings. So you can upload your logo and have it appear on the label. So just click on change logo, and then you're going to look for a picture on your computer of your logo. And then you have label settings. So here you can specify how your name, email, website, and phone number appear on the label. So you may want to add your abbreviations after your name, change your phone number. And these are global settings for all the all the patients. So you may not want Latin. You may want to actually have Pinyin. And we're going to save the changes. And then we have some info sheet settings, so it works kind of the same way. And then you have your payment settings. So you can manage your credits. So you can see what your credit balance is as you earn markup money. And you can request the money from us. So if you want for us to send you, like, say, $500, you have a bunch of money you've accumulated, and you can do that, and you just send the request. And then you can see all the transactions. Okay, so all transactions, credits you've received, credits you've used to pay for orders, and any money that you've withdrawn from the system. Notification, there's nothing there right now. And then checkout, if you want, if you know you are always going to have the patient paying, you can toggle that to on, and it will automatically select that for you. And if you know you're always going to ship to the patient, you can have that automatically selected for you as well. I think that's about it. I mean, you're probably going to have some questions as you go along. If you do need any help, please contact us, and we're more than happy to help you out. And please let other people know about our service. The more practitioners we have, the more we can offer to you.